Hello, my name is Chris Parham. I'm a graphic designer, and this is my website, over50designers.com, which is a temp agency for older designers. I have two scenarios, scenario one, scenario two. My first one is my primary persona, David Marshall, is a graphic designer who's been laid off from his job. He's in his mid 50s and he needs a job as soon as possible, hopefully remote. My secondary persona is Carmen Rodriguez. She's a lead recruiter at an agency in Boston. She's in her early 30s, and she's trying to get this big job that's happening out on the Cape, where they stress that they would like young designers and old designers and designers of color and so on. And she's competing with CreativeCircle.com, which is another temp agency. And as you can see to your right, you see the same two jobs, 17 remote jobs in New York and one in Boston. And she needs to fix that because she feels that that's an issue, personally speaking. And also to your left, you can see how CreativeCircle.com, how they advertise their jobs, and they primarily deal with trying to promote young workers, so on and so forth, and alienating older workers. So she decides she's going to start working on that and building some wireframes for devices for herself and for her client. So she decided they would start off with mind mapping, and two of her user testers for the Creative Circle, they spoke on the fact that, for instance, Sam Wright, 58 years old, was asked, with this site, do you feel that it encouraged you to spend more time because of the vast number or lack thereof of remote jobs? And he said, spend more time depending on if I can find a remote job because that's all I'm looking for. And Jennifer Deese, early 20s freelance graphic designer, was asked, would you spend more or less time from looking at this site, looking for remote jobs depending on availability and work? And she said, I would end up going to Indeed or Monster because this site is not really hands-on to me. It makes the job search so much harder. So as you can see to your right, those are the mind mapping strategies that we're looking at: remote listing, filters, age discrimination, and then subcategories beneath those as well. And as you can see, they're kind of spread all over the place, but this is where we start the wireframe work. So the first two wireframes are to your bottom left, and the new and improved ones are to your top right. And to the bottom left, as you can see, the old social media icons need to go. Where the resume pops up is not really clear. And then when you take a look at the job search, the same thing with that, where it's kind of plain, where it just says apply now, and there's not really a lot of not really a lot going on basically. But when you look at the new wireframes, as you can see, we have a remote only button on both the tablet and the iPhone. For him, he gets to go directly in and he can see fully remote jobs, how much they pay, if it's full-time, if it's part-time, and then he can just send in his resume directly, as you can see, to Carmen. And the same thing with her, where she could go directly to her database and search up people. And as you can see, David is doing, he's filling out, clicking on the job, uploading a resume, and getting a prompt of the received resume, and then he's back to the job search. And he is applying for that job that Carmen wants designers for, by the way. And here, Amira Parham is looking at a wireframe, the very first wireframe to her right. And as you can see, she wrote a bunch of different comments on this, specifically talking about what kind of jobs are they? Are they accessible? How do I know I got the job? What happens once the application goes in? And also, she was kind of confused about where the navigation, where it says clients, she wasn't really sure what that meant. You know what I mean? And also getting rid of the social media buttons that don't belong. She got rid of those as well. And also putting a share button at the bottom of the wireframe. But as you can see at the top, all those things have been done, filtering by city, state, and zip code, job preference, search jobs, remote only, just a really much better feel for the job search because that's what David does when he's at home. And remember, this is an experiment. This is a subsidiary. It's not an actual situation yet until it gets approved. And here we have the new wireframes for the devices we're testing, and here are the results of the site for the wireframe, that is. And for David, he needs to have direct links to jobs so that he can apply for jobs right away. And then also for him, companies need to be identified and a job description is necessary. And then one more for David, where need to have applicants click on a job. It pops up at the bottom of the device and gives a description of the job, the pay, full-time, part-time, remote, so on and so forth. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different things going on in here that you could read for yourself concerning the wireframes that were done, and from the testing from the old site for the Creative Circle site, we were able to come up with some new and exciting things going on in terms of being able to get directly to your job, her being able to get directly to her clients, and so on. And here, in conclusion, at the top right, as you can see, she got what she wanted in terms of the language changed and the writings of a lot of these jobs that are going out there. And she also had 5, this is a new one where she has 5 years of experience instead of the 1 to 2. So older designers aren't dissuaded by, that type of language. And also in the middle right, as you can see, questions about issues and questions for first set of wireframes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.